Talks. So, why did I choose the millennial word? Apparently, as a generation, we millennials are the most unhappy and depressed people, although we haven't seen any slavery per se, we haven't seen world wars. We are having the most comforts as a generation. We discovered internet and all that stuff. Still, we are a generation of unhappy and depressed people, right? So, why did I choose the word monks? Because apparently, number one, they are not unhappy or they are not depressed, right? Also, because whatever I'm going to talk about today, I met this Buddhist monk Karma Yeshe Rabge in September last year, and he guided me with these daily habits that I'm going to mention. Okay, so he mentioned, like you don't have to actually leave everything to become a monk to become peaceful. You can be peaceful the way you are living right now. You can live a peaceful and purposeful life the way you are living, the job that you're doing, or the business that you're running, or the house, the relationships you are having. So, how do we do that with daily habits? That's what we are going to talk in today's session. The next part, finding peace and purpose. Why is it finding peace and why is it not finding happiness? It could be finding happiness as well, but the more books I read about mindfulness, meditation, about happiness or peace, the more all of those books talk about the temporary nature of happiness, that happiness is impermanent, happiness is temporary. And Buddhism, in particular, talks a lot about why you should not be chasing happiness, why happiness should not be your number one goal. Because happiness is temporary, it's an emotion, and like anything else, anyone else, it's going to end. And when we chase happiness, when we get happiness, we become happy, we get a high, and then the moment goes away, and then we feel unhappy again. Chasing happiness in itself means that we are unhappy somewhere in our current moment, right? Thank you so much, whoever is joining. We have 27 people now, and I just want to know that you guys are able to hear me. So can you just type in hello or hey or anything? Thank you so much. So this is the reason that because happiness is such a temporary emotion, like any other emotion, chasing happiness sounds kind of counterproductive. But you can be peaceful and in almost any situation. That's why finding peace or looking out for peace is a more sustainable and less depressing intention. All right. Why do we need to find a purpose? So, this is not me talking, I have written it here. So, there's a new study by Harvard School of Public Health researchers, and they published that people who have a goal, a purpose, a theme in their life, they are more likely to be physically and mentally healthy. This is not me talking, this is the scientific research talking. So you need to have a purpose in life, and it doesn't have to be, like I want to send the human race to Mars. Although if you have that goal, if you are Elon Musk, it's really good, but you don't need to have a huge purpose in life. You could be having a really small purpose. We will talk about it. And because we are the generation of really comfort seeking people, we are millennials, we don't want to go to meditation retreats or Himalayas to actually find peace and purpose. You can be doing it with daily habits, and today I'm going to mention 4 daily habits that's going to help you out. All right, so 2 habits for peaceful lifestyle, two habits for purpose driven lifestyle. Okay, so the number one habit, really cliche, almost everybody knows it by now. For a peaceful lifestyle, start a meditation practice. And by meditation, you don't have to meditate 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, or like even 30 minutes a day. But when you start meditating 2 minutes a day, the 2 minutes is a really small amount. You could be, like we could be pausing this session and you could be meditating right now. So for 2 minutes, if you do it every day, after a certain time, you're going to see how it's neurologically changing your brain. And there has been studies around this as well. Unfortunately, I can't share the links right now. So anyway, you have to take my word for it. But yes, meditating even for a small amount of time, you're going to see changes in yourself, in your behavior, in your responses that you're getting from people within a few weeks to months. And that could happen if you start meditating for 1 or 2 minutes a day. Okay. Now, the second habit for a peaceful life is daily reflection. So, I graduated as a habit coach today, a certified habit coach. And this one habit is my keystone habit that I coach people around. So, what is daily reflection? You have to ask yourself these three questions every night before sleeping. What went well today? What didn't go well today? And what will I change tomorrow? The thing is, we live in an autopilot kind of mode. We sleep, we get up, we go to our job, our school, our college, and then we come back and then we sleep again. We don't reflect, did I do something good today? Or did I do something that I don't want to do today? Did I do that kind of a thing today? But when you start reflecting every day, this changes your life. I hadn't done it like 6 months ago. I started 4 months ago. I've been doing it every day for the last 4 months. It's really revolutionizing. It will change you. And again, this is like a 2-3 minute thing. So you sit in silence, you take a deep breath, because taking a couple of deep breaths slows down your body. And then you ask yourself these questions. What did I do well today? What didn't I do well today? What didn't go well today? And what can I change tomorrow? It's as simple. Now, 2 habits for a purposeful lifestyle. Thank you so much, whoever is coming in. I just wanted to give you a shout out that you're welcomed in this session and I'm enjoying your company. Now, 2 habits for a purpose driven life, for a purposeful lifestyle. Number 1 is acts of service. Are you doing anything for somebody else without expecting something in return? That could mean financial donations, because a lot of people actually have a lot of financial issues. So if you have money, if you have extra money, or if you have more than what you need, financial help can be a really good source of service. But apart from finances, you could do a lot of other really significantly better, but maybe, like if you look at from a distant view, it might not seem as much. Let me give an example of this. So if you stop criticizing people, that could be a huge act of service. Or if you start being kind, compassionate, and empathetic to everybody who you meet every day, that could be a really impressive and great act of service. Okay, so your act of service don't have to be go open a animal shelter, open a homeless shelter or whatever. It doesn't have to be as big, although if it is big, it's great. But you can start really small by asking yourself every day, whom can I help today? Who can I help today? Is there anybody whom I can help today? It's really as simple. All right. Now, the 4th daily habit for a purpose driven life is practicing non-violence. Now, practicing non-violence will mean practicing it on 3 different levels: non-violence in actions, non-violence in thoughts, non-violence in words. Now, the thing is, non-violence in actions can be done by following a vegan lifestyle. All right, following a vegan lifestyle would mean not killing animals or not eating non-vegetarian food or stuff like that. That's non-violence in actions, not harassing people, not like punching people randomly. That's an act of violence, right? So this is one of the acts of non-violence. You don't kill anybody other than like you don't kill anyone. Non-violence in thoughts and words would mean no sarcastic language. Non-violence in thoughts and words would mean no curse words, no not complaints, but no curse words, and yeah, you got it, no sarcasm as well, which is incredibly tough in today's day, because if you look at it, if you look at any of the comedies that we are watching, any of the videos or movies or TV shows or whatever you're watching or consuming, there is a curse word in every other sentence. There's F word, B word, C word, or whatever, but it's on every other sentence. In every other line, people are speaking, right? So it has been hard. I've been trying it for, as I mentioned, for 4 months, and I can't say I'm doing it perfectly. I still, kind of curse somebody or insult somebody, mock somebody like once a day or stuff like that, but it has came down incredibly from where I started. So yeah, let me just quickly repeat those 4 habits. 2 habits for peaceful lifestyle and 2 habits for purpose driven lifestyle. For peaceful lifestyle, daily meditation and daily reflection. For purposeful lifestyle, acts of service and practicing non-violence. As I can see, like some people are typing in the chat box that sarcasm is my second language. And I understand. Somebody else is saying never thought of curse words as violence. Totally understand. I was where you are right now, like 6 months ago. I didn't see sarcasm as a violence. I didn't see curse words as a violence. But when you try it, when you practice it, after a few weeks or maybe like let's say 3 or 4 months, you will be in a position to see a lot of difference. So Buddhism talks a lot about pain, suffering, and we see like a lot of people are in fear. They're not living in love, they're living in fear, and they don't need your mocking, they don't need your insults, they don't need your curse words. They need your empathy, your compassion. And I don't think saying F word in a sentence, or like, how do I say that? I don't think if you say the F word in a sentence would make it more compassionate. Rather, I assume it will make it less compassionate. It will make it more violent if you add curse words. So these are the habits that I have been following. And to tell you this one thing, I didn't prepare this whole conversation up until like half an hour ago. And do you know why? Because I was not just trying to teach you or tell you something. I just wanted to share you what I have been living in the past 4 months and the results that I have been getting in the past 4 months. And it has been amazing. And I cannot say that I have found my purpose of life or I'm a really peaceful person, but I'm incredibly better than where I used to be. And I guess that's what the journey is about. It's about getting better instead of reaching somewhere. So let's see if you have any questions. So I'll be taking on the Q&A for now. And thank you so much for being here and attending this talk. I didn't expect so many of you to come here. I'm really happy for you. How do we stay connected to you? So yes, you can see my name here, Dipanshu Rawal. I'll be sending you the link. So dipanshurawal.com is my website, and dipanshurawal.com/spark, SPARK. It will take you to a free book that I'm offering, and you will be in touch with me on email. How do you start to think like this? Can you elaborate this? What do you mean by this? Let me put my link in the chat box. As I'm taking questions, so if you have any questions, anything to say, feel free. Can you give examples of non-violence in thoughts? Yeah, so this is basically one of the NLP things, I guess, neuro-linguistic programming. They have a lot of that in life coaching. So our thoughts becomes our beliefs and feelings, and those direct our actions. Okay, so everything starts with a thought. So there are primarily two types. I'm taking this question that can you give examples of non-violence in thoughts? I'll tell you about it. There are two types of primary emotions: love and fear. So all the other emotions are either love-based emotions or fear-based emotions. For example, compassion, acceptance, humor, joy, excitement are love-based emotions. All the fear-based emotions are jealousy, anxiety, depression, and sarcasm, probably. So the thing is, you will still have thoughts, non-violence, like violent thoughts, like all the fear-based thoughts that, why is this, any thought that has to do with jealousy or anger or frustration or anxiety, like, why is this happening to me? Or why is he doing so much? Like, how is he getting so much? If you entertain those thoughts, those will become your behavior. If you think again and again that why is that person getting so much, why did he do to deserve all this, if you continue getting that again and again and again, what will happen is when you talk to that person, it will reflect in your behavior. You will not be as compassionate with him. You will not be looking at his challenges that he's facing, right? So this is the way your thoughts travel to the reality, your behavior. Okay, so non-violent thoughts would be thoughts of compassion, empathy, love, joy, acceptance, and possibly curiosity. I see so many questions here. We have 10-11 minutes, so let's do it. Why not? Who is your mentor and who do you study? So, like I mentioned, these 4 habits were recommended by this Buddhist monk, Karma Yeshe Rabge. I met him in September, and so I'm reading his books. And what I'm doing is I am actually so he mentioned that Dipanshu, go and practice these habits, and we'll talk again after a few months or a year. So this is that's where I am. And meanwhile, I'm also reading a couple of spiritual teachers like Gabriel Bernstein. So yeah, that's where I am. That's where I'm learning all that. I'm just trying to read other questions. How do you do daily reflection? How do you hold yourself accountable? So yeah, good question. One thing is you start with the journaling part, because I don't know how comfortable you are with your meditation practice. If you haven't meditated anytime, so you can just start with copy pencil and ask yourself 3 questions every day. What did uh, what went well today? What didn't go well today? And what will I change tomorrow? How do you keep yourself accountable? If you want to do it on your own, I don't know how comfortable you are while making new habits. So if you can do it on your own, great. If you can't, hire a coach. I'm a certified habit coach in that case. And I have seen my clients, this daily reflection habit has helped one of my clients deal with her grief. Okay. Somebody in her family died, and she was doing this one exercise, and she mentioned this to me, that doing daily reflection every day actually helped her, keep herself grounded. It has productivity benefits as well. So you have to see. I'm sorry, I'm actually getting a lot of questions, so I got distracted. Give me a second. Yeah. So I was talking about how do you keep yourself accountable. So the easiest thing to do is actually hire a coach, a habit coach. That's the best way to start. Okay, Coach.me offers this, and because I already sent you the link for my website, you have a way to contact me as well. And let's have a chat and see how you can use daily reflection to achieve your goals. Okay. How to stay in the moment and still plan for the future? That's a good question. That's a good question. When you're staying in the moment of stillness, it's peaceful, it's calm. At the same time, you have to live a purpose driven life as well. So there's a balance between living in the moment and thinking what I need to do. Some people think a lot what I need to do in the future and don't do enough. So they procrastinate or they don't do a lot of actions or whatever. So you will see the imbalance in people's life. What you're asking is how to stay in moment and still plan for the future. You have to try and maintain a balance. How do I not get anxious about the future? At the same time, how do I plan for what do I need to do at the moment? I hope that makes sense. Let me scroll up and see if we have more questions. So Ryan asked me, how do you think about non-violence or curse words? What made you do this instead of staying the same? So, like I mentioned, this was kind of an experimentation. What would happen if I do this? What would happen if I, don't do this? So, as I asked this monk that, how can I become more peaceful? How do I live a more purposeful life? So I mentioned, like you should be doing this non-violence thing, and it was kind of an interesting challenge, like can I spend one day without cursing anybody, or like without saying f word or b word or c word? Can I do that? So I think the answer to that is I was curious to figure out, like how would this impact me, how would this change me? And it has impacted a lot, and a lot positively. So, guys, I we still have 5 6 minutes. So, if you have more questions, I'm happy to help. And I'm just mentioning the link. Wait a second. You have to put HTTPS code in front of it. Give me a second. So, if you want to be in touch with me, just drop your email details in the link. You'll get a free ebook, and we'll be in touch on email. So people are asking more questions. Let me see. How to stay grounded when sometimes our evil side make us happy by making someone else down, which once made us unhappy. Yeah. So what she's asking is, what would you do if you like getting revenge? I hope that's what she meant. When sometimes our evil side make us happy. So there's a German word around it. I forgot. So the word basically conveys when you are happy in someone else's suffering, right? It will give you momentary happiness. I'm not going to acknowledge. I'm not going to deny that revenge will not make you happy. No, it's not. Revenge will make you happy, but for a really small amount of time. A really small amount of time. And uh, what I have learned so far, This will not help you make peace with yourself. This will push you a lot, like you will not be able to accept yourself. The morality thing, the whole moral thing, that what, I was good to people, or like I could have been good to this person but I was not. It will it will mess with your acceptance level. You will not be able to accept yourself. 1 year from you taking the revenge, or it might happen a decade later, but this is supposed to happen. If you're not dealing with someone, not dealing with someone with love, give me a moment, because I'm trying to find the words that would fit in the situation best. So how we treat others is how we treat ourselves. If you are not forgiving the other person for the mistake he did, you will probably not be forgiving yourself for the mistake you did. I hope you are with me in this train of thoughts. So if you're taking revenge with someone, that basically means that you are trying to punish that person for the mistake he did or she did. If you're doing that to somebody else, you are going to do it with yourself as well. If you did some mistake, you're not going to forgive yourself either. We, I guess, only have 1 or 2 minutes. This has been interesting talk. So somebody mentioned talk about being a vegan. I was a hardcore non-vegetarian, like food person. I really loved eating non-vegetarian food. But this was kind of another experimentation, that what would happen if I stop eating non-vegetarian food, because I have loved eating non-vegetarian food. So what would happen if I don't eat it? Can I try that? I tried that 3 years ago, and uh, I have been, like I stopped eating non-vegetarian food because it it brought so many changes in myself that like you can't measure it. I became more kind and compassionate person. I don't know how or why, but this was a significant lifestyle change that I did. I stopped eating non-vegetarian food, and looking at what it did, so I was still consuming dairy products and everything, so I kind of became vegan, because I decided, what, I really loved what like not eating non-vegetarian food did to me, and let me try prohibiting all of the animal based products. And that's when I decided I'll be a vegan. And I have been consuming plant based food for almost 2 years now, and it has been an amazing and resourceful things. I'm feeling a lot better in physical health, as well as what my whole behavior. So Debelis is saying that it's delicious and no animals hurt or killed, been vegan 20 plus years. That's an inspiration. So I guess this is where we say goodbye. Thank you so much for being here. And I would really love to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for being so active in the chat box. I was kind of worried that what if nobody came to my session. So thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.